Hey, what's up, guys? It's Brandon Long here with another episode of the Go Long Sports Talk Show. Last episode, I broke down my top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, and that video is doing pretty well. Seems like you guys are enjoying the NFL content. So for today's episode, we'll be breaking down my top 10 NFL wide receivers going into the 2022 NFL season. Now, when I'm the way I made my list, I'm taking everything into consideration. I'm taking in age, who very important, which a lot of lists don't take into consideration. Who your quarterback is, your chemistry with your quarterback, even if you do have a good quarterback, production and potential. Okay, so just like my last list, I'm going to start off with some guys who did not make the cut, and I'm going to give you some reasons why. All right, the first guy I'm going to mention on my honorable mention list, Mike Evans. 6'5", 245, grown-ass man. Honestly, he was on the list, but I had to take him off just due to some further consideration. And the reason why Mike Evans isn't on my top 10 wide receiver list is he's a damn good receiver. The first receiver, I think, in NFL history to have 8 straight 1,000-yard seasons to start off his career, which it's crazy. No one else has ever done that before. He's productive as hell, tough as hell, but simply he's just not better than the other 10 guys on the list. I really have nothing bad to say about the guy. He can go deep. He's a possession receiver. I guess one knock you could say about him is his speed. He's not the fastest guy, but when you're 6'5", 245, you don't exactly have to be DeAnthony Thomas at Oregon. Okay. Now, another stud who's off the list, DK Metcalf. I got to knock him down for his performance last year. He has Russell Wilson, and a lot of that you could blame on the shit that Russell Wilson had going on in Seattle last year. It was just a bad mix. The offense just the whole team just seemed out of sync last year, and DK's production kind of dropped off from where like his arc was going or his first 2 years. Like he's a guy who has the potential to get 1,500 yards, 10 touchdowns every year. But another thing I'm knocking him on is if he's playing alongside Tyler Lockett, who's a damn good receiver. But if that team wants to be as good as they can to their best potential, DK Metcalf has to be your best receiver. He's basically the reincarnation of Terrell Owens, 6'3", built like a Greek god, can fucking, if he took that to proper training, could probably be on an Olympic track team. So they've got to get their shit together in Seattle, especially if they want DK Metcalf to make my list. Tough. Oh, God. This next guy, who was another close call, but I just couldn't put him on the list. I've seen too much. It's like when your girl goes through your phone and she finds something. Shit's never the same. Like the trust is broken. Yeah, you love them. Yeah, you want to trust them. You want to be able to depend on them. But once she sees Debbie in your phone under Pizza Hut, let's not lie. The relationship's never the same. She's always going to have that in the back of her mind. So this guy who broke my trust a few years ago, and which is why I just can't put him on my top 10, is Amari Cooper. He's a great receiver, arguably the best route runner in the NFL. He's big, strong, fast enough to really do anything he needs to do on that field. Deep threat, good hands. Intermediate route. He's an all-around receiver, but there's just something about it. His motor runs a little too low for me compared to the rest of the wide receivers in the NFL now it's ridiculous. Like we're and especially in the few years coming up, because we're in the golden age of the Framp camps, the stupid wide receiver training. All the guys who, like the position back in the day for the NFL used to be the running back. The best athletes played running back on the offensive side. Now the best athletes realize that in high school, let me get in these 7-on-7 camps. The running back's career only 2 to 3 years. Wide receivers are making the most money. If I'm not going to play quarterback, I'm going to play wide receiver. They get to shine, all the shit, the scholarships, all that bullshit. But back to Amari Cooper, why he didn't make my top 10 list. His motor runs too low, and I've seen him get punked on live television by Stephon Gilmore and do nothing about it. There's no way that, especially playing for that team, the Cowboys, you can say what you want about Dak Prescott, and I could do a whole hour-long podcast episode shitting on Dak Prescott, but that's not the point of this. Amari's another guy where I can refer to that the Avatar. I still haven't checked up on it. The intro to the Avatar with the bald head nigga with the arrow on his head, not the James Cameron movie. When his people needed him the most, he disappeared. Yeah, he'll make a big play for you against the Eagles in Week 8 in overtime. Shit, that doesn't matter. But the game to get in the playoffs, Stephon Gilmore, and I need a big play out of my supposedly number one receiver. No, he just doesn't show up. There's just something in him that just doesn't allow him to just get out there and man buckets like LeBron James, which is it's unacceptable. And so that's why he's not on my list. And the Cowboys, they'll tell you that too. They traded. He's in his prime still. He's kind of I don't know what. I guess he's still in the middle of his prime. But when the team who traded for you for a first round pick and paid you $100 million, making $20 million a year, trade you away for a fourth or fifth, that should tell you everything you need to know about a guy. Another one who's not on my list, Chris Godwin, another guy, one of the best receivers, one of the toughest guys in the NFL, complete game, not the biggest deep threat, but as far as slot receivers, intermediate, tough catching traffic guys, dependable receivers, you can't get much better than Chris Godwin. But like I said, we're just in an era where these top 10 guys are just on another level. So kudos to him. And the last guy who I'm going to mention on my honorable mention list who did not make the list is Michael Thomas, stud receiver. We really don't know how good he is because everyone remembers that season he had 140 plus catches, hella yards, racked up shit. But he was also playing with one of the arguably top 5 quarterbacks of all time, top 2 statistically. So I got to see him do it with Jameis. Haven't seen him play in a couple years. So hopefully he's healthy, motivated, but he has to get to work, especially if he wants to get back on this list. Down to the list. Number 10, Keenan Allen of the Los Angeles Chargers. How old is this guy even? Like you know what I'm saying? Like he's it feels like he's been in the league forever. He's kind of like the way that he's never been really a deep threat. He's had ACL surgeries. There's no reason for this nigga to be breaking off niggas like he has been over the past, especially like the past 5 years. The past 5 years, the later half of his career, past ACL injury and shit, have been better than the first 4 years of his career. I think he's been in the league, if I'm not mistaken, like 2014, 2015. So the fact that he's just still and he's still in his prime. So I feel like he's a security blanket, especially for Justin Herbert, stud young quarterback. We talked about him last episode. But he's arguably the best route runner in the NFL, arguably the best third down receiver in the NFL, and shit on him all you want. Niggas will hate on Keenan Allen, but be the first ones to draft him in fantasy. Make that make sense. Okay. Number 9 on my list. This is a tough one because you can arguably put guys Mike Evans or Amari or DK Metcalf ahead of this guy, but this guy's game is just it's so all around. He's literally the perfect receiver. And even with taking quarterback, like I said, I've took everything into account, and even how good your quarterback is in the chemistry. But the fact that this guy's even still able to get noticed out there with his inconsistent quarterback play over the past few years. And that guy is Terry McLaurin, coming in at number 9. He's just an all-around receiver. He could beat you deep. He could catch and run. He's a good possession receiver, good hands. He's 6'1", but he's long, so he plays 6'1", but he plays like he's at least 6'3". So it's going to be interesting to see what Carson Wentz can do because he's a hell of a weapon. They got a few other guys, good pieces: J.D. McKissick, Antonio Gibson on that Washington General squad. Jesus, that sounds weird saying, but so number 9, Scary Terry. He's just such a stud. Even though his quarterback play has been subpar to pretty much his whole career, he's been balling out enough to get on this list. Number 8, DeAndre Hopkins, Arizona Cardinals. So we all know about his steroid allegations, or not steroid allegations. He got caught using steroids. So the reason that he's so far down this list, you go since 2016 up until pretty much last year, he was a shoo-in for at least a top 5 receiver. But the steroids came into play just as much as his performance for me because you're at the kind of he's been in the league a long time. He's going on almost 10 years in the league, and what do you need them steroids for? You know what I mean? Like it's can you not just wake up and go like the rest of because the rest of the niggas on this list seem like they could just wake up and go without the steroids. So he's arguably the best hands in the league. Dependable receiver, can do it all, finds a way to get past niggas when he's not the fastest, he's not the biggest, so he knows how to play the position. But I just got to see how he comes back this year. That's why he's number 8 on my list. Number 7, Justin Jefferson, another guy, LSU boy. Them LSU boys just going crazy. What can you say about this guy? Like he went to a squad with Adam Thielen, who they tried to make the Great White Hope, and basically just made it his team. So, like, Stephon Diggs couldn't even do that. Like, Justin Jefferson's hands down the best receiver on that team. And he's playing with a decent quarterback, Kirk Cousins. This guy can make all the plays. Like, he's the rest of this list is the guys that are going to be one-play touchdowns. Who he's a guy who every time he touches the ball, it could be a touchdown. He just has a knack for making big plays. And you can't teach that. Either you got it or you don't. I was watching some highlights of Kyle Pitts today, and he has all the intangibles. I wouldn't have drafted him that high, especially with Justin Fields on the board. And if I'm the Falcons, I need a quarterback. But he catches the ball and falls down. He started to get used to the shit. I think he was a little nervous beginning of the year, especially his rookie year. But this guy, Justin Jefferson, he's just a one-play touchdown waiting to happen. Number 6, Stephon Diggs. Right after Justin Jefferson. He pretty much just reinvented himself going into Buffalo. He's another guy who's just an all-around receiver. He's tough as hell. Not the most athletic guy, not the most fastest guy, but his will to win, his will to compete every rep, his will to make the most out of every play. Another guy who's honestly, you could say, is the best route runner in the league. He's a very underrated route runner just because this guy's always open. You look at him, and you really didn't think about him like that when he was in Minnesota, and maybe that's because he had Case Keenum throwing to him. Adam Thielen, like I said, they tried to make him the Great White Hope for a second. That nigga, he didn't even make honorable mention. So, Stephon Diggs, another stud receiver. Love to have him on my team. Could be the number 1 on a winning team. And I think the biggest thing that goes into play with him being so high on this list is the chemistry he has with his quarterback. For some reason, some guys just click. Terrell Owens, Tony Romo, click. Tom Brady, Randy Moss, click. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, it works. Number 5. This guy's, I don't think I've ever seen some shit like this guy before in the NFL, and that's Deebo Samuel. Is he the 5th best, quote-unquote, technical wide receiver? No, but he's listed as a wide receiver, and if you're going to ask me if there's 5 more guys that I want on my team at that position other than Deebo Samuel, I'm just going to say no. This guy's just another walk-in one-play touchdown. Just electric, man. Like he's, God, Jesus. I don't even know what to compare it to. Like I said, I've never seen some shit. A guy literally takes sweeps and handoffs and can run the power and can take a halfback dive for 70 yards and take a slant and take a fade and take a crossover for 70 yards and take a punt return and a kickoff return. Like this guy's making the NFL. He's literally playing road to glory. But you remember Madden, I don't know if you can do it anymore, but when you used to be able to make your player, you could put that nigga wherever you wanted to. So that just seems like he's just playing at a different level than these guys. So he's a stud. He's going to get paid by the Niners, and they'd be stupid to let go of him. Number 4, the gritty man himself, Ja'Marr Chase. Going into this season, he had the rough preseason. He had the drops. I was one of the people, and it's probably out of not seeing him that last year at LSU. He chose to opt out because of COVID, who thought that Devontae Smith was the best receiver in the NFL. I mean, it was the best receiver in that draft class just because what he did just dominated like no other receivers ever dominated in dominated in college football. But that just might be just the greatness of Mac Jones, you know? Yeah, I know y'all niggas gonna like that. But this guy, man, like when you talk about a guy who just makes it look easy as a rookie, I've never seen a rookie make this shit look this easy since Adrian Peterson. He looks like he's literally jogging out there. He never looks out of control. And he's a walk-in one-play touchdown. You've seen what he did in the playoffs. His tape speaks for itself. But the thing about this guy, I think that really makes him so much better than a lot of guys. He's so fast, accelerates fast. Great hands, but he's strong as shit. Like he's stronger than he looks. Like these guys have a tough time getting that guy on the ground. Nobody wants to hit Ja'Marr Chase head up. I'm telling you what I see. Nobody just looks at Ja'Marr Chase and thinks barbecue chicken. DBs are scared to death. He really don't say shit, so it probably makes it even more scary. Nigga just going for 10 catches, 150 on you, 3 tubs, and hasn't said a word to you. That's pretty intimidating. So this guy, he's going to be arguably, and next season, I wouldn't be surprised making this list next year talking about Ja'Marr Chase is the best receiver in the NFL. And Madden Hold'em, I think they had him as a 90 overall. I forget who they had in front of him. But no, there's not 4 guys at receiver better than Ja'Marr Chase. He's ridiculous. Okay, now the top 3. Pretty much everyone has the same top 3. Not in the same order, but the same 3 guys. So I'm going to break it down. And honestly, this next guy, if I was going to start an all-time team, like I could pick any NFL, I could pick 20 guys for my offense, 20 guys for my defense on an all-time NFL team to play against another all-time NFL team. I'm taking this guy on my team any day, and that's Tyreek Hill. He's number 3 on this list according to playing the wide receiver position going into next season. But as far as an overall football player, he's on my all-time team. Tyreek Hill, he's the reason that a lot of these fast niggas get drafted, like John Ross, Jalen Reagor. He's the reason that these fast guys, Jalen Waddle is really the only one who's worked out so far like him, the fake-ass Tyreek Hill prototype, because like he's able to he's honestly the fastest guy in NFL history with the football in his hand. So you can't say enough about his one-play touchdown, his instant acceleration. We all seen the play against the Bills where he just pieced out. It's just like what can you say? This guy played running back in college. That plays into how well he is punt return and running with the football in his hands after the catch. He's really worked his way into being this 3rd best receiver. Y'all remember a few years ago when Jalen Ramsey was trying to give him a noogie, trying to little bro him about being a special teams artist, but nah, he's the real deal as far as receiver. He puts fear into anybody who lines up across him because he can just run right by you if he ever decides to. Number 2. You guys already know who my top 2 guys are. You don't know the order, though. And as a black man, this hurts me to do this. Number 2 is Davante Adams. Davante Adams, another guy who's the perfect all-around receiver. He's been in the league. It seems like he's been doing it forever now. The evolution of his game is another thing. Like people, you guys got to remember, when he came into the league, he wasn't a stud. He was a damn good receiver. You've seen all the everything he's put together now towards the past few years in his career was there, but he was still kind of like a baby deer out there. Like he would make plays when it came to him. Like he never fucked up, but he wasn't looked at as the number 1 guy because they always had Jordy Nelson, I think, when he first got there, Greg Jennings, just other guys. But then once he took that number 1 spot and Aaron Rodgers started looking at him, targeting him 150 times, 200 times a season, then he's made the most of his opportunity. So he just goes to show for a guy who can just worked his way into being one of the best wide receivers in the NFL and arguably in NFL history. This guy can do it all. He's tough, can make the possession slants on the goal line, the deep passes, deep balls. He can get behind the defense, can hit you with the 15-yard out, textbook route runner. Can just long, he's big. He's physical, but finesse at the same time. So Davante Adams, number 2. And I'm excited to see what he's going to do with his old college quarterback, Derek Carr, out for the Raiders. I'm a Chargers fan, so it's fuck the Raiders, but that's going to be fun to watch when they're not playing us. And number 1, this man right here, I've never seen someone bring more black men to their knees since Jesus Christ. Cooper Kupp. Just watch the tape. Just watch the tape. This guy, I don't know, man. It's just like when he's running routes, the corners just shit themselves, you know? Like they're looking. I've never seen anything like this. The season he had last year is 3 times the season that he's ever had before. This shit came out of nowhere. Like and once again, the QB chemistry plays into it. It's Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp. It's a great duo. It works for some reason. They're on the same wavelength. And this guy, his ability to just get separation no matter what the situation is. You could be 15 yards off him. He'll like the play against the Buccaneers where he just runs right past Antoine Winfield, which is, you're looking at it like, how the fuck are you letting this white guy run right past you? He's not the fastest. You're fucking 15 yards off. How's this happening? But he just finds a way to just, I don't know what it is, man. His routes are crisp. One of the best route runners in the league. Great hands, very sure-handed, best hands in the league. And he just has a knack for getting open, man. He's the opposite of Amari Cooper, and he showed that, last year. Whenever you need a big play and you know that it's going to him, he makes the play. And it seems like all he did for the Rams last year, especially in the playoffs, was make the play. There's no reason for them not to double-team him. If it's crunch time, if it's a gimme, I'm double teaming Cooper Kupp because I know that's exactly where he's going with it. And even when you double team him, he finds a way to be wide the fuck open. And there's 2 niggas on the ground like they just fought WAC 100. The shit makes no sense. It hurts me as a black man saying this because it's damn near a hate crime for him to be putting so many niggas on their knees like this, like he Joseph Smith. It's crazy. So Cooper Kupp, we'll see if he can follow it up this year. I don't see why not. The Rams, they got Odell Beckham over there still. They just got Allen Robinson from the Bears, which is a big pickup. He was the number 1 over there for a while. So Cooper Kupp, he's just going to have another. I don't know if he can follow up this season. This is the best season any wide receiver in NFL history has ever had, so it's going to be hard to top that. But I expect him to at least go for 1,500 yards and 10 to 15 touchdowns once again. So let's go down my list. Once again, number 10, Keenan Allen. Number 9, Terry McLaurin. Number 8, DeAndre Hopkins. Number 7, Deebo Samuel. Number 6, Justin Jefferson. Number 5, Stephon Diggs. Number 4, Jamar Chase. 3, Tyreek Hill. 2, Devontae Adams. And number 1, Cooper Kupp. See you guys.